We're actually, I mean, it's going to be about 17 years since you were in the WWE, in the heart of the Attitude Era, that 1998, I guess early 1999 time frame. And one of the questions I had was just based off of, you know, the way they used you in 98. You were there at the same time as Ken Shamrock, and you guys did kind of intersplice, you know, in different matches. But do you feel that they've really dropped the ball on a marquee Dan the Beast versus Ken Shamrock match at one of the top pay-per-views in 98?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was, you know, Ken Shamrock actually went to work almost 1 year before I did.
Right.
But they were talking to us both at the same time, and basically Ken just more or less said, this for X amount of dollars, I'm yours. Right. And the reality is, I mean, anyone that's under his contract with the WWE, I mean, they sold their soul.
Right.
At that time. I was, at that time, and still am, as far as I know, the only athlete ever that did not have any boundaries about me. I could work for anybody, because at the time I was, you know, NWA champion, and in the NWA alone I was working for 30 some odd different promoters under the NWA banner.
Right.
But then I was still didn't have no restrictions there, because, you know, the NWA wanted to make me exclusive to them. I go, well, what's that worth then to you guys? If you want me to be exclusive to you, there's got to be an annual salary with that. Right. Otherwise, you know, if I'm only working just a couple shots for the NWA, what does that do for me? Nothing.
Right, exactly. And I think that comes to the argument of the, you know, the independent contractor and how you go about, you know, being a professional wrestler, is that now I guess there's more of a guarantee in terms of, you know, a contract, so to speak. I know, you know, that was one of the things that, you know, I'll ask you in a minute about the CM Punk situation where he left the WWE and basically would present outside endeavors and he would get shot down. I mean, you're talking about being a part of the NWA, which in 98 had a somewhat light working relationship with Vince and the WWF, because the NWA, I believe it was like North American Heavyweight Championship, was being used on TV for a little bit of time. They were not receptive at all to, you know, a firm like contract with you about that, or they just didn't want you. They didn't want you to be exclusive to anybody but them, and they just wouldn't go that extra mile to keep you.
No, actually, no. I mean, what the WWF wanted at that time, they did want an exclusive contract, and that's why we were in negotiations almost a year.
Right. Okay.
And, you know, basically, I did not want to simply go. I mean, I did not want to cease all of my other endeavors I was doing at the time.
Right.
Put all my eggs into one basket, because, you know, I'd already seen the professional wrestling world for what it was. Right. And it's all politically motivated, and I'm not exactly a very politically correct individual.
Right.
And because honestly, I'm the type of guy that everybody respects me, because they know whatever comes out of my mouth is the truth. You may or may not like what I say, but you will never question whether or not it's the truth. Right. And that's where I have impeccable credentials through my amateur wrestling career, professional wrestling career, and the cage fighting career. Right. That's where we're still. I think that's why I have such continued good business contacts to this day, because people know that my word's better than a contract. Right. But you know, being that old school and being raised with values, and you know, again, I guess I can go into almost different types of aspects of saying what's wrong with our country, because no one is accountable for their actions anymore. Right. But I don't. I'm trying to answer your questions without really going off with too many different tirades. I mean, the WWF had an opportunity with the Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, because we each had a match apiece. So to do a tiebreaker, it's a no-brainer. It could be easily have done. I really do believe that, because the Fed knew that they really had no control mechanisms over me. They couldn't tell me what
Right.
But at the same token, I guarantee you, I was about to say, I'll bet they have never had anyone underneath their banner like me as well. But I'm sure there were some older school guys that were cut of the same cloth that I am. That even when I worked with, I'm kind of mixing a few things here. The UFC was beside themselves when I said I wanted to have the NWA belt.
Right.
Carried out at one of the UFC events. And they did not want the association. And I just said, I said, you're not being associated with professional wrestling. You're being associated with Dan Severn here right now.
Right.
Dan Severn is a professional wrestler. You do not know the history of the NWA belt. I go, the NWA has a lot of phenomenal history to it. There's been some great people that have carried that belt. Not all, but there's been some really great individuals. And I had to give them a little history lesson of where the carnival circuit came from, and that a champion used to have true capabilities.
Right.
They didn't throw the strap on just anybody, whereas in the last, say 20 years or less, they do throw the strap on just about anybody they think that they can draw a crowd with, whether or not they have true abilities. But, that's why I said that, Vince had nothing to worry about for me. I think I always look at it this way. I represent myself first.
Right.
Then you represent your family, and then anything else after that falls third at best.
Right.
And because, even as a coach, when I talk to different athletes, I always tell them, they'll say, well, they don't want to do this. An athlete will say they don't want to do this or that because of this reason or that reason. I go, when you step out on that mat, you step in that cage, or you step, in a ring, you represent you first. You will always represent yourself first. And then basically it's going to fall back onto your family then too, because people will start to wonder about your upbringing and that. And then, everything else is third at best.
Actions definitely speak louder than words.